So one of my favourite games and days each year is the non-league finals day. The non-league finals day is the FA Trophy and the FA Vase final. They're both played at Wembley. They're both played on the same day. So you get 4 sets of fans as well as the neutral fans. And I knew of a couple of people who were heading down to watch it. And it's a good occasion. And it's a really good event. Usually brings in around 40,000 people. And it's really, really good. So the first year we were there, Hereford, and we lost 4-1 to Morpeth. And in the other game, Halifax beat Grimsby. The next season, York beat Macclesfield, and South Shields beat Cleethorpes. Both had around 50,000 attendance, which is absolutely fantastic, and it is something that I really, really do look forward to each year. This year, Stockton Town played Thatcham Town in the FA Vase, and in the FA Trophy, the final was between Brackley Town and Bromley. So usually, in the last 3 occasions, there's been a decent, a big sized club reached a final. So 2016 there was us. Halifax brought a good following. Grimsby brought a fair following, but they did have the final the week before, so it wasn't as big as the playoff final. The next season, York bought a fair few, as did South Shields. I think they bought the most. Today, Bromley bought a fair few. So I'm going to start with Stockton and Thatcham. The game was incredibly similar to the game yesterday in the FA Cup between Manchester United and Chelsea. It was decided by a penalty taken by Cooper Clark. And this lad, who plays for Thatcham in the 9th tier, and they got promoted and they'll be in the Southern League West, I would say, or East, probably the East. He scored 62 goals this season. That is absolutely incredible. There wasn't overly a lot between the sides. There really wasn't, and that penalty really did cost them. There was a few chances that Stockton had, but there was some really great defending by the Thatcham players. They also had a lad called Echo Elliott, and he played on the wing. He's number 11, and he looked really good. He was really quick, a lot of skill, and it goes to show there is a lot of good players down in the lower leagues, and so many players have come through that system. And obviously, not all of them make it to, let's say, where Jamie Vardy made it, but a lot of them make it into the Football League and the Conference and places like that. It was a really, really decent game. There was chances, but Stockton could not score against a decent defence of Thatcham. And it's the first time, I think he said, in 9 years that it's come down from the northeast to be with a southern side. So South Shields won it last year. Morpeth beat us and won it the year before that. I think North Shields won it the year before that as well. So it's been very dominated by the northern clubs, and that has stopped today, which is great. It's great to see another side lift it. And then the Bromley game and the Brackley game. So I caught little bits of this. I watched, I think it was the first half, and then I saw right at the end. So basically, Brackley started it quite brightly, but it was Bromley who took the lead through Omar Bouguil, who was a winner last year at Wembley with Forest Green in the playoff final. And Bromley had chances to make it 2-0 at the end, but Brackley had a really good game. They created lots of chances, but their side stood still. They just couldn't get the ball in the net. And it looked like it was going to go down to a Bromley win, 1-0. But that didn't happen. Just before the goal, there was a chance, and it was Hanlon. And Hanlon had a chance, and he should have buried it, but he didn't. And it ultimately cost them the win. So a free kick, even a corner came in, and there was a header on, and Gareth Dean, I think his name was, got a touch, and it came off Roger Johnson, who played for Wolves and Birmingham not so long ago, and he diverted the ball into the net. So that was in the 95th minute. It was right at the end of the game. They played extra time. Nothing happened in extra time. Nothing. There was nothing of note, which makes me think, well, maybe they should just go straight to penalties, and maybe that is something they should look at introducing. But they play extra time in the FA Trophy usually, so there's no point changing it just for the final. So this is how it went. Bromley scored the first penalty. Brackley actually missed the next penalty. Raymond scored, Williams scored, Hanlon scored, Diggin scored, Reese scored, Armisen scored. So it was all down to this Bouguille penalty, who scored the goal, and he put it over the bar. And Walker scored from the penalty spot, and then Holland hit the post, and Brown slotted it home, and Brackley, the north side, the Panorama National League north side, beat the higher graded opposition to win it. It was a really, really good game, considering it was 1-1 and considering how long they were ahead for at 1-0. It was a really, really good game. I really enjoyed it. It was a great advert for non-league football. Hereford actually played Wealdstone, and we lost 1-0. We had a player sent off. That sending off was later appealed and won. And if we wouldn't have had that, we'd have probably gone through. I truly believe that. But things don't always work out how you want it to. But there's always next year. It's a great occasion for both clubs. Sorry, my phone keeps going off. My girlfriend keeps messaging me, and it's on my iPod, not my phone. And for some reason, that doesn't have a sound off. So it was a really good game. I really enjoyed it. It's a great advert again. The only issue is there is a massive gap between each game. First game kicks off at 12:15. So let's say you're done at around 2:30. But there might be extra time and penalties. Therefore, they allow around 2 hours, which is silly. And that is something that they need to work on. They need to come with an idea where, if it goes to extra time, they can move it back, because that is such a long period of time. So if you're done at 2:30, the game should kick off maybe 3:15. So there's time to get everyone off the pitch and have the celebration, and for the other players to do a bit of training. And then play it by ear for the rest. So maybe 1:30 if it goes to penalties, or 1:45 if it goes to penalties, or whatever. But this needs to be shortened down, because I would imagine, as a neutral, if I was at the ground, you can't go back out when you're in. At least you couldn't when we were there, when Hereford were there. You couldn't go out and, have a look around London or whatever for those 2 hours. You had to stay in the stadium. And if you've ever been to Wembley, you'll know that it's very expensive. Everything's very expensive there, including You know, so what are you meant to do for 2 hours is the question. You can't just stay there. You know, and I feel sorry for those that, I think that they would certainly attract more people if they looked at it and thought, okay, why don't we cut the gap down? But it's very difficult to be able to do that with the obvious extra time and penalties, because the last 3 seasons this has happened, none of the vase games have gone to extra time or penalties. So there is a massive gap. So say you're done at half 2 and it goes to extra time and penalties and whatever, and the celebrations and the lifting the cup and whatever, then it isn't that long. But without it, it is a little bit too much, and I don't understand why. You know, you can postpone a game at a drop of a hat. You can delay a game at a drop of a hat. So why can't you delay a game here? Put it at, you know, at an earlier time, and just say, if it goes to extra time, it'll be delayed by X, Y, and Z amount of time. That is the only gripe I have with this situation. Besides that, it really is a good occasion, and it makes total sense for the both games to be played together. It really does, and it makes for a great occasion. The only issue is that, and also sometimes, because there is a chance of it clashing with the conference playoff final, there is a huge gap between that. So if you are Bromley, who wasn't involved in any sort of post-season playoffs, then you wait 3 weeks. It's a long time. And like I said, there was a chance. Grimsby did it. But Brackley were involved in the playoffs. I'm not sure about Stockton, but they said Thatcham had some cups as well to play in. And we had a couple of cups, but there was still a long wait. And obviously, it puts you behind for the next season as well. Your plans and things like that. Did you watch the games? Or did you go? Or is it something that you've never heard of before and you'd like to be interested in? Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for watching this video. I've hit over 600 recently, so that is a great achievement. Thank you, everyone. I am Mike, and I will see you soon.